Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we get to day 2 of the D&D spoilers for Forgotten Realms. So I'm going to start off with the best cards or the most interesting cards that I've already selected, and then we'll go through the entire list that has actually come out today and see if there's anything new and interesting to keep an eye on for the future as well. So, first card. Varis, Silverymoon Ranger. 1 green green for a legendary creature, human elf ranger, with reach and ward 1. Whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, venture into the dungeon. Whenever you complete a dungeon, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. This guy seems like a really powerful way to move through dungeons for sure. I don't know how often you're going to create a 2/2 green wolf creature token, but he seems like a fun dungeons-oriented green card. If you want to build a commander deck around it, it seems pretty decent. Like I said, I haven't figured out exactly how good dungeons are yet. Wandering Bard, I might have already covered this. 3 green for a creature dragon bard. At the beginning of your end step, if a land enters the battlefield under your control this turn, venture into the dungeon. Landfall dungeon progress. Seems pretty easy, seems pretty straightforward. It looks like green and white might be the dungeon moving colors, but I haven't kept an eye on the others to see. When Veteran Labyrinth Explorer 3 white for a 3/4. Not bad for stats for a body like that. Human Warrior. When Veteran Labyrinth Explorer enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Excavation Torch. 1 colorless, 1 white for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, venture into the dungeon. Not bad. Ah, big one. Orcus, Prince of Death. X, 2 colorless, 1 black, 1 red for a legendary creature demon. Flying and trample for a 5/3. When Orcus enters the battlefield, choose 1. Each creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. You lose X life. Return up to X target creatures with cards with converted mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. They gain haste until end of turn. Wait, isn't that insane? Firstly, if you X him 3 times, does he not also kill... Oh, okay, each other creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. You lose X life. Pretty damn amazing. Return up to X target creature cards with mana value X or less from your graveyard. They both feel insanely good. This guy has no downsides. He is a perfect commander. You can cast him for 4 for a 5/3 flying trample. So he will take 5 hits to kill someone, but not, that's not hard to get to. You just get him 1 more power and then you're good to go. And yeah, this guy feels really strong for black-red. No disadvantages that I can see. You guys can let me know if this might be one of the more powerful cards. And surprisingly, it is just a... I keep saying it is just, but it is a rare. Instrument of the Bard. Legendary artifact. 1 green. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on the Instrument of Bards. 3 colorless, 1 green. Tap. Search your library for a creature card with mana value to the number of harmony counters on Instrument of Bard. Reveal it, put into your hand. If that card is legendary, create a treasure token, then shuffle. This card is okay, but truthfully, it doesn't really... It's a bit slow. At the beginning of your upkeep, so you pay 1 green. If you get this on turn 1, yeah, you're probably going to be pretty well off. But if you get this on turn 3 or 4, it's going to take forever to get to a point where it's actually going to give it use for the amount of mana you pump into it. And you had to tap it, and the treasure token in green is not very useful anyways. It's a weird one. +2 mace, 1 white, 1 colorless for an equipment artifact. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. The name says it all. Equip cost is 3. Okay. Pretty decent. I think this is pretty decent. I can see that it's just a common, but I think it's actually got some value to it. Plus, I just like it for the flavor text, which is the weight of this magic weapon falls heavy on the wicked. Actually, you know what? That flavor text doesn't really do it. The title does it way better. Farideh, Devil's Chosen. 2 colorless, 1 blue, 1 red for legendary creature Tiefling Warlock. Whenever you roll a die, she gets menace and flying until end of turn. If any of those results in a 10 or higher, draw a card. She is the dice rolling commander and a pretty good one. So white, green are dungeons, going through the dungeons. Red and blue are playing with the dice mechanic. Haven't really figured out the other color combinations, but I'm sure they mix it up. It's just I've been looking at very specific cards. Farideh's Fireball, 3 red instant. Fireball deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Roll a d20. 1 to 9, Fireball deals for 2 damage to each player. 10 to 20, Fireball deals 2 damage to each opponent. What's the difference? What's the difference? So what's the difference between dealing 2 damage to each player and dealing 2 damage to each opponent? Is it because each opponent also counts planeswalkers or something? Because I would have thought the 10 to 20 would be a better number to roll then. But I'm not too sure what the difference is, but you guys can let me know if there's actually a difference between the two options. Seems a bit strange. Froghemoth. 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 I'm pretty sure that's meant to be Behemoth or something. But anyways, 3 green for a creature, Frog Horror with Trample and Haste. It's a 4/4. So 5 for a Trample Haste 4/4. Whenever Froghemoth deals combat damage to a player, exile up to that many target cards from their graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on Froghemoth for each creature card exiled this way. You gain 1 life for each non-creature card exiled this way. Not bad as a end way to get around possibly a red deck, but it hasn't got any protection. For 5 for a 4/4 trample, it can avoid a few things, but we'll have to see exactly how useful this is. This feels like a powerhouse in the right deck, but then again, there have been some pushed green creatures in the past. Haste does make a big difference, but haste is very, very useful. Earth Cult Elemental, 4 red for a creature elemental, which is also a 6/6. Siege Monster, when Earth Cult Elemental enters the battlefield, roll a d20. 1 to 9, each player sacrifices a permanent. 10 to 19, each opponent sacrifices a permanent. 20, each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. This is an amazing card for 6. Really? That's insane. That's a really, really powerful 6-drop in the common slot. Okay, whatever you say, wizards. Triumphant, 6, it won't be used anywhere much other places, but that's a big push for elemental cards. Great in some of the landfall elemental cards. Deck, sorry. Triumphant Adventurer, 1 black, 1 white for a human monk with Death Touch. Does look happy. As long as it's your turn, Triumphant Adventurer gets first strike. First strike and Death Touch, very, very powerful. Whenever it attacks, venture into a dungeon. Okay, sure. We already did this guy. Yes, I think so. Yes. Hama, Pashar, Ruin Seeker. 1 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue for legendary creature human wizard. Room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. That feels pretty good, and it's a 2/3. Feels pretty good. Some of those abilities are draw a card. You can draw 2 cards if you have this card out. Zalto, Fire Giant Duke, 3 red for legendary creature Giant Barbarian with Trample. It's a 7/3 for 5. Pretty cool. Whenever Zalto is dealt damage, venture into a dungeon. So I guess you'll play this in an enraged deck because it says not combat damage, it says damage. So you can kind of like trigger him multiple times. He can only be triggered 3 times before he dies, so you can do it maybe twice a turn. There are cards to do that. I feel like some of them might have actually taken off once this guy was shown. We'll have to see. Shessra, Death's Whisperer, 2 black-green for legendary creature human elf warlock, Bewitching Whisperer. Whispers. When Shessra enters the battlefield, target creature blocks this turn if able. Okay. Whispers of the Grave. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. Feels pretty good, but 4 mana for a 1/3 is hard ask. Meteor Storm X, 3 red for a sorcery card. Meteor Swarm deals 8 damage divided as you choose among X target creatures and or planeswalkers. Feels pretty good. For 5 mana, you can take out 2 4/4s. For 5 mana, you can take out a planeswalker and a 3/3. For 4 mana, you can take out a 8/8 or a 8 loyalty planeswalker. All of those are a pretty decent trade in. I feel like that's actually really good. And last one from the picks, 1 colorless, 1 blue for Yuan-Ti Malison. 1 colorless, 1 blue, Snake Rogue. Yuan-Ti cannot be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. Whenever Yuan-Ti deals combat damage to a player, venture into a dungeon. Yeah, you know what? I selected it because it was rare. I feel like it's okay, but eh. Okay, and we have probably seen quite a few of these. There are some really interesting ones, but nothing that really caught my attention like the ones that I already covered. If you guys want to let me know if there's any cards that I missed that actually are pretty cool, feel free to comment below, but I think we'll have to wait until the next day spoilers. Thanks again and have a good one. See you guys.